Hola estudiantes, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Saludos estudiantes, saludos. A ver, so let's do like a recap, ¿verdad? Before the end of the week. So in chapter 1, we have to start interacting with our partners, compañeros y compañeras, right? And we should be saying more things besides our name and our origin. Okay, so we at this point we should be acquainted with me llamo Marilyn, ¿verdad? And questions like ¿cómo te llamas? ¿De dónde eres? And then reply to the question ¿de dónde eres? Soy de Estados Unidos. Soy de Nueva York. See? Now, we're going to add a little bit more. The question should be, ¿estudias español? Sí, estudio español. Another question that is part of this chapter is, ¿qué tal? It's another way to say, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué tal? And then you should reply, bien, ¿y tú? Okay, ¿qué tal? ¿Estudias español? Sí, estudio español. ¿Y tú? Sí, estudio español también. Okay, bien. So, it's important that you go to page 18 and 19 and take a look at exercise 1.4. Listen to the audio. So you start developing the listening skills, okay? And there you're going to hear with audio within an audio one, that's audio 12. You're going to listen to different dialogues. One is informal and another one will be formal. Okay, what is the difference? Pay attention. When you are interacting with friends, people of your age, little kids, or if you want to show familiarity with that person, then you're going to use the informal approach. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal estás? ¿Cómo estás? Okay. Now, if we are in a formal setting, then we need to use the formal approach. If you're talking to, let's say, a professor, a lawyer, a doctor, if you are in those kind of situations that you have a client, it's extremely important that you use the formal approach. Okay, so instead of ¿qué tal? We prefer to use ¿cómo está? Without the S. ¿Cómo está usted? ¿Verdad? Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Buenos días is for the day, morning time or in general. Buenos días. Buenas tardes is in the afternoon. Buenas tardes versus buenos días. Buenos días is masculine, buenos, and then buenas tardes and buenas noches. Okay. Noche is evening or night, both. Okay. So, buenos días. ¿Cómo está usted? Without the S. The está without the S. Muy bien, gracias. And then, if you want to introduce another person, you're going to use again the formal approach. Mire, in that specific situation, of course. Mire, le presento al señor Pedro. Mire, le presento a mi amiga Ana. Mire, le presento, okay? And then to reply to that kind of expression, we should say, Encantado o encantada. Nice to meet you, ¿verdad? I'm delighted to meet you, okay? Encantada in the case of a female and encantado in the case of a masculine, okay? Bien, so it's important that you hear several times that audio number 12, okay? And then complete exercise 1.5. Bien. In activity 1.1 on page 20, you need to identify the origin of the person. Okay, the origin. So you're going to hear the audio and then identify the country. Okay, de donde es. See, de donde es. Make sure that when you complete your voice threads, you have a lot of interaction with your classmates. That's how you get a good grade in this kind of activity, but also in the course, a lot of participation. Okay, so forget about being shy. Try to interact a lot. Okay, so our first voice thread is going to be basically an introduction, not only of yourself, but then you're going to introduce another person to another classmate. Okay. Yo soy Eva. Mira, ¿verdad? Mi amiga Ana. ¿Qué tal? ¿Verdad? ¿Cómo estás? Um, on page 21, you will have a lot of expressions that are going to help you in this stage. Okay, so it's important that you create your flashcards, and then very early in the morning you study your flashcards. Identify those expressions that are giving you a hard time and bring them with you. Okay, so if you have to work and you have 1 minute because you're going to the bathroom, bring your flashcards with you, and while walking, practice, study that flashcard. Okay, practice that expression. So then you're able to record when it's needed. Okay, to remember that specific expression. Then also, in this week, we need to start expanding the nationalities. Okay, so now instead of using estadounidense or soy de Nueva York, soy de Estados Unidos. Now we're going to start using the nationality. Soy estadounidense. Soy norteamericano. Do not use americano because americano is basically the word for a person who lives in the American continent. Okay. Bien. So I prefer that you use estadounidense. You put estados along with unidos, eliminate the S of estados, and then put that together. Estadounidense. Eliminate the OS of unidos and then ense. You add ense. And then you have the nationality, estadounidense. Okay. Now we have more nationalities. Chile, chileno, chilena, Mexico, mexicano, mexicana, etc., etc., etc. Pay attention. If the person is a female, then the nationality has to agree in terms of gender. Okay. So, yo soy puertorriqueña. Él es puertorriqueño. Yo soy cubana. Él es cubano. ¿Sí? Bien. So, Um, Again, make sure that you know when to use the formal approach and when to use the informal approach. See? And also remember that in Spanish, because Spanish comes from Latin, we make a lot of emphasis on gender. Everything for us is either feminine or masculine. Okay? If I'm mentioning the profession of a person, the majority of the time, that profession, the ending of that word is going to agree in terms of gender and also number. If I'm mentioning several people and then I'm mentioning the profession, that profession has to be in the plural form. For example, las chicas son enfermeras. They are nurses. Okay, enfermeras. I'm using enfermera because they are female, but then I have to make that plural, enfermeras, because there there are more than one. Okay, enfermeras, escritoras o escritora. Okay, profesor, profesora, médico, médica. ¿Sí? Bien, gente. And the last topic that we are covering this week, it's about actually las profesiones. Okay, las profesiones. And on page 24, you have a list of some basic professions. Make sure that you identify those that are easy to remember, like ingeniero, profesor, even futbolista, ¿verdad? Médico, because they have a connection with the English word that you already know. You see? So try to identify those that are easier to learn and learn them quickly. Okay. And then you create your flashcards for those that are a little bit more challenging, like cantante, ¿verdad? Em, and that's basically, or escritor, ¿sí? Escritor, escritora, cantante. Pay attention. Cantante stays the same for both. So if you have an adjective or a noun that is ending with an E, usually that's what you're going to see. We stay with the word like that for both femenino and masculino. Okay. The same thing happens with words that are ending with I'm sorry, ista, like tenista, futbolista. Okay, futbolista, football player, tenista, tennis player. Bien. So make sure that you complete your LTK activities for this week, submit them on time, and complete the quiz number 4. Okay, jóvenes. Hasta luego. Ok, nos vemos. Chao.